Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Student Spin podcast. Today, we have a special guest joining us, Madison, and she is here to talk to us about the clubs here at Georgia Highlands. I just found out that there's 20 plus clubs, which even I was not aware of. So there is a lot of engagement that students could get involved with. So in this episode, we're going to talk about that engagement and see how students can get involved with these clubs and figure out which ones are best for each person, depending on their interests and their career paths and just what they enjoy doing the most. So to start with, Madison, would you introduce yourself and your role here at Georgia Highlands?
Hello, everyone. My name is Madison. I am the assistant coordinator with student engagement. I do a lot of things here on campus. Student engagement houses a lot of separate, I don't want to say departments, but separate hats. We do career services, the food pantry, orientations, and one of my favorites is programming for student clubs and SGA, which is Student Government Association. It's one of my passions because I was a student here at GHC, and it helped me heavily get involved on campus when I was a student, and it really propelled me into the career that I'm in today. So, my passion kind of feeds back into my role.
Talking about all these clubs, would you mind just giving us a rundown of what all the clubs are and what they have to offer? So just, I guess, in no particular order, from start to finish.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, you just learned that we have over 20 clubs. I think I counted 23. I have the list pulled up next to me because I cannot remember them or memorize them. I love them each dearly, separately for different reasons. But this list actually, so the 23 includes our intramural sports, which is beach volleyball and soccer. So I'm just going to glance over at my list. We actually have advocates and allies for disabled and neurodivergent students, art club, book club, college conservatives, Highlands Writers Guild, English Majors Association, Friends United, Gaming Club, Green Highlands, Highlands Film Society, Running Club, Spanish Activities Club, Student Veterans of America, and Young Democrats. Then we kind of get into, this is kind of on the staff side, we kind of group them into where they fall in terms of the opportunities that they offer. So our academic groups, quote unquote, would be Highlands Association of Nursing Students. So that's housed mainly on the Floyd campus. And we have our psychology club. Then we have our honorific groups, which I've worked with you in before, PTK, Phi Theta Kappa. And then we also have the student publications, which are considered clubs, technically speaking. That is the 6 Mile Post and Old Red Kimono, so ORC. And then we actually, so like I mentioned, the intramural sports, we have soccer and volleyball. And then we just approved 2 new student clubs, which is very exciting. HERD, which is improv and kind of like acting and theater. They're amazing. And then we also have computer and engineering club. So that's kind of housed in the School of STEM. I think if I explained what each club offers students individually, I think we'd be here a lot longer than what we discussed. But I like to preface the clubs with, yes, they have particular names, but they are open to all students. So it's kind of a chance for students to, you might know where you want to belong. So, if you have an itch for getting out into nature and you want to get into the community and help with, recycling needs or, planting trees and planting fruits and vegetables and learning more. Green Highlands, that's an awesome opportunity. But I think what is lost in translation sometimes is clubs are a great way to find yourself. So if you have something inside of you that says, I want a new interest or I want a new passion, it's a great way to find friendly people, friendly students, fellow students that are extremely open and they're welcoming. And, it gives you a chance to explore new avenues that you might not have expected. I'll be an example. When I was a student here at GHC, I was terrified of getting involved. And I was also the student that drove to campus and went home. I just did my classes. And I ended up joining, at the time, it was called something different, but Spanish Activities Club. And I couldn't even tell you, I just kind of happened because I started meeting people in class and I was like, oh, there's chances to get involved. Like, this looks cool. I didn't come to Highlands and say, oh, I want to join Spanish Activities Club. It was a chance for me to find new passion and new interests and meet new people. And then through there, long story short, here I am. I met a lot of people, had a lot of networking opportunities. So to answer your question, the clubs offer not only your interests, but it can help you discover new opportunities and new interests. So I think it's a great way for students to get outside of the classroom and kind of supplement what they're learning, and also just explore the community with the GHC community as well. Yeah, I feel like I could talk about this forever, so I'll try to keep it short and kind of keep it here. But I think clubs are just so vital to students' belonging, because if you're coming to campus and you're just doing your classes, that's great. But you really finding a belonging. I was that student. Finding that belonging, finding those friends, finding that interest will really enhance your journey here and really open up opportunities.
That's wonderful to hear, because for me, myself, I'm in the film club. Right now, I'm the president, but a few years ago, I just joined because I love film. That's my passion. That's what I'm going to school for. And so, kind of similar to you, when I first started, I was not in any clubs. It was just coming and taking classes and leaving campus. And comparing that to what it is now, being involved with a club, it is so much better being able to just interact with people who share your passions. And, because there's such a variety, you may bounce between a few before you find the one that works for you. And I believe a lot of the clubs try to do monthly meetings or a few meetings a semester. And those are great opportunities to just meet the people involved. Specifically with Film Club, we have monthly meetings. So you may go visit a club and be like, that's not quite for me, but keep going around, visit all the other clubs. And eventually, out of the 20 plus that you described, I'm sure there's going to be something that hits your niche and your area of interest. So that's great. I think having something besides just going to class here at Highlands, it makes it, I'm not going to say bearable, it just makes it fun, because here coming to school, you're learning, but you're also building connections with people and having experiences. And clubs, I think, is a very crucial part of that. So that's great. Thank you. So for students to get involved, like I mentioned just a moment ago, there are usually meetings these clubs host. Is there a specific contact or means through the school that people can actually make that step?
Absolutely. And I'm so happy you asked, because as you can tell, I can get lost in my passion talking about clubs. So each club is independent. So, they make their own schedule, they make their own flyers, but they are housed under SGA, the Student Government Association. So we meet SGA once a month, every first Thursday of the month at 3:30, virtual right now. And this is all of the clubs coming together to discuss updates. So if, their meeting time changes, or they have an event going on, or if they want to collaborate with another club, this is kind of the place to do it. However, I always tell students, because I know it can be a little overwhelming, especially if you're already hesitant to get involved, student engagement at highlands.edu. You can just shoot an email and say, hey, I want to get involved. Help me get involved, and I will absolutely lead you in the right direction. If you have something specific you want to get involved with, I can give you more information, but we can just go from there. I like to make the process super easy for students, because I remember being in those shoes. It's a little overwhelming because you feel like you really don't know what's going on. So if you reach out to me or the student engagement at highlands.edu email, I can definitely get you connected. That's as easy as it is. You just shoot me an email and I'll get you connected. And most clubs actually have their own Discords. They also have just small get-togethers just to hang out, just to talk about classes. I know there's some study groups that happen within clubs. There's also a lot of collaboration, which I really like to see. This is not official yet. I don't know when this will air, but we are planning or trying to plan an Earth Day event, and I'm working with Highlands Writers Guild and possibly Green Highlands. So that's a cool collaboration time, to be able to help them host that event and see them get along and flourish with event opportunities. But I did want to mention, while I'm talking about how to get involved, if you don't see a club that you are interested in, or if you're like, maybe it's not for me, the process to start a club is extremely easy. So all you have to do, shoot me an email, you fill out a packet, I get that packet signed, you come to SGA and present it, and most of the time everything gets approved. It has to get voted on through the student body. But again, our student body is very welcoming. They're very open to new opportunities. And that's as easy as it is.
Relating to HERD, this drama club that's just started, I know just last semester, it was a student or two who they came to Highlands and were like, there's no theater, there's no drama improv here at GHC. So they brought that to the school. They suggested, hey, could this particular area be expanded upon and possibly introduced? And because of that, just a few weeks ago, we now got HERD, an official drama club. So really, within a matter of months, this idea became a reality, which is a wonderful example of that. I also do want to add that clubs can also be beneficial in the education side, along with just the social side. Because with my experience in film club, I'm taking film classes, and that's very important, of course. But here in the film club, we do things together by making projects. We write scripts together, we shoot short films, we screen them, and it's really an additional level beyond the classroom. And I'm sure that's the case for a bunch of other clubs. With the writing club, that's an opportunity to just be with fellow writers, practice your skills, get better. Gaming club, you can further your skills in gaming if that's your thing. It's not just going to be socializing, it's going to help you in the academic side of Highlands. So there's multiple reasons to join a club. So not just one, there's a lot going for it. So
I do want to add to your last point because, yes, a lot of people will look at clubs and say it's fun, it's the party side, it's outside the classroom. You are absolutely correct about there's way more reasons to join a club. I'll give you an example. So a lot of our clubs, when they want to throw an event, this might seem simple to some people, but behind the scenes, it gets very complicated. But it really helps with organization and communication abilities and your skills that you develop. Planning an event is a big deal. You have to go through the appropriate avenues. You have to follow policy and procedure. You work with me directly. You have to be very organized because I don't want to walk you through the whole process, but you have to, rent the space. You have to get the desired items. You have to fill in the proper paperwork. So it's a lot. It really teaches you to be self-accountable. You have to be organized. And not only that, like you said, I want to give Stephen a little props as we're speaking because he was setting up our interview area and I was just like, wow, these are awesome skills. I was watching you, you knew how to do everything. So it's those kind of skills that you can transfer into your career and you can put on your resume that you've worked with this kind of software, you've worked with this kind of equipment. So, if you know what you want to do in the future, you're like, hey, let me develop these skills. Let me make some projects. Definitely a good way to build your portfolio as well. So, yes, I just wanted to build on that because a lot of people think it's just fun and games. And it is. Don't get me wrong. It is. But it really helps you develop skills that are transferable to your professional career. But other than that, please get involved. Get involved, get involved, get involved. We want you involved. It is a welcoming, energizing community. Every single student is welcome, even if you're online. You don't have to be on campus. Even if you're online, you are still welcome to join any campus, any club. It is open to you.
it's the best of both worlds. You're not just having fun, you're not just going to school. It combines them to where you're having fun and benefiting from being at school at the same time. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. And thank you all for tuning into this episode of the Student Spin podcast. I hope to see you next time and hopefully maybe see you in some of the clubs in the future. Have a great day.